everyone. Welcome to the latest Soul Connections reading. I'm here to do the reading for the full moon, which takes place, I believe, tomorrow, the 9th. Today is Saturday, February 8th. And this full moon is in Leo, which is a fire sign. So I don't know about you guys, and it could just be because I am a fire sign myself as a sun sign, Sagittarius, but I've just been feeling so many shifts just since the new moon alone. There's just been a lot happening and just unprecedented change within myself and a desire to just kind of overhaul my life, patterns, all kinds of things. And if you guys watched the last video, the Soul Connections video, the new moon, I picked up on two different collectives of soul connections as far as what was going on in the collective. And we had, the traditional one that I've been on and off of myself, where there's been some contact, where there's some progress, where both partners, seem, even though they might be in a separation, um, there's the feelings have been expressed, and you kind of know, um, there's been a discussion perhaps of a future together, or it's just a knowing, right? And then I was picking up on another part of the collective where there's been, you know, a point where one partner, most likely the feminine, has broken away from the connection, has gotten fed up. Um, there's been addictions. There's been, not an admission of feelings. There's just been real, not a lot of progress. And they've been almost thinking that maybe they're with a catalyst. So I was picking up on both of those. So if you didn't see it, you might want to go back and watch that video. Then it was very interesting because I believe it was in the water signs February reading that basically turned um, to a soul connections twin flame type energy update, which was I was not expecting. And I was kind of picking up on both dynamics. I was picking up on a masculine who had maybe not been emitted feelings, had been, the night energy, the hot, the cold, the breadcrumbing. And I was picking up on the ones that had already, there had been progress and significant, developments in the last couple weeks. And what I was picking up on was kind of like a convergence of energies, very suddenly, very swiftly. And I feel like it could be this full moon coming up, where both sets of these connections kind of get back on track. So I'm excited to see what comes out here. I have no idea what's going to come out. I am going to delve into both the masculine and feminine energies, and then we'll look at the union energy. Hopefully, I tend to run over. You guys know that. I am going to start with the masculines. I kind of want to see what masculine we pick up on. If there's one, if there's two. I'm going to use the Twin Flame Journey Tarot by Mystic Moon. You might want to check out a video I shared from her just the other day on the Divine Feminine update. It was really good. If you're in a catalyst situation or a breadcrumbing night, things aren't progressing, you're stuck, you might want to check that out. Okay, sorry guys, please use me as a clear channel. What's going on with the Divine Masculine? What's going on with Divine Masculine right now with this full moon? This full moon in Leo. Whoa, okay, that one, that's okay. Whoa. Wow. Holy crap. Okay, so do you guys see how that flew out? That was like, I was going to stop on that card because it was like, yep, and it was like, psh, I'm coming out. Ace of Swords. And in this deck, breakthrough and awareness. And see how this is like the two, like, it's almost like it reminds me of 1111, even though it's just, but it's like an epiphany. This is the epiphany card. Um, I kept, I predicted in the specific twin flame 2020 outlook that February was the card that came out for February was Hierophant, which is spiritual awakening for me, spiritual union. I think there will be unions this month for many, but I think more along the lines of it's about becoming in union with yourself. And I have to say, I feel like I am closer to that within myself than I've ever been. Um, as far as just changing my routine, getting healthier, um, just really being at peace with myself and not worrying about the future, finding joy in the moment, those types of things, and finding listening to what my soul wants, the calling of my soul, not being afraid to say no to people, not being afraid to cut ties, um, to just, do what I need to do, what's best for me. So I think that a lot of people are, especially feminines, are going through that right now. And I think when we get to this beautiful place where we're whole within ourselves and our feminine energies are balanced within us, that's, and I've said this before and I know I've wavered on and off of it, but I really still do believe that if you are a true twin flame, that you're alchemically bonded, your souls are connected. It cannot be broken no matter how many times you try, to break that bond. Again, people do have free will. So, it's a matter of that obviously gets factored in. But you guys know I've also talked about you only have, at least every time I've tried to exercise my free will, I've been directed right back on path. Like, boom, like, nope, you're going this way. You're not doing these things. But for me, again, not to digress, I feel like as the feminines are getting into this beautiful balance within themselves and finding the strength within themselves to set boundaries, even with the person that they love, the person that they might think is their twin flame or whatever you want to call it, if they're strong enough to say no to that person, if they're showing up as a knight, not a king, I think that is like kind of like the pivotal, I should say, factor that just something clicks within you when you're strong enough to where you don't need crumbs and you won't settle for crumbs. I think then it's like forcing this kind of boom. And I think this is happening across the collective. I think there are a lot of masculines, um, that are awakening. And I think, you can also look at it as, again, I always stress this because I'm really, if you're focusing just on the masculine outside of you and that person, then I don't think you're on the right path as far as, focusing. You need to focus on healing everything within you, balancing everything within you. I just know for myself, even I've had breakthroughs and awareness, and Ace of Swords is a difficult new beginning, challenging new beginning, to maybe completely overhaul your life, to set boundaries, to change patterns, to change routines, things maybe you've been doing for years. Um, it's not always easy, but it's like this epiphany that it needs to happen. So take that for what it's worth, but that card, kind of seems to be the theme for the masculines of what's happening. Oh my God. Okay. This is going to be interesting. All right. Wow. These masculines. All right. Okay. So I think, yeah. So what the reason I flipped out was the first card that came out, right after this breakthrough awareness, this epiphany, what awakening, whatever you want to call it, for the divine masculine is the Empress, which is the divine feminine in this deck. Major Arcana. I think the awareness and the breakthrough may be where some of them have been denying the connection, denying their feelings, denying that there could be a future with this feminine, with this woman. I think some of this awareness, this awakening, this breakthrough, these epiphanies is tied to this and to starting to grasp and understand the connection and to realize, the realness of it. I'm getting, they may be starting to have, if they haven't already, or maybe they had trailed off and now they're starting back up again, to have dreams, astral experiences, things that are really starting to, they can't get her off their minds. Um, and, the thing is, the blocking thing is they're not quite there yet. They're not quite, Eight of Cups is an energy of moving on, but in this deck, for me, it's always been awakening, an awakening card, evolving. Look at this. I mean, they're growing. They're going on their own spiritual journey. They're still doing that. They're still having to do this on their own, just like we did, and that's why they've not come forward yet. Either at all, if you've not been in contact for a long time, and you may even think it's done. Obviously that's the reason. But if some of you have actually talked about a future with your masculine, but there's still, there's not been solid plans to meet up. There's not been a solid offer yet. That's why they're still going through this growth process. They're gaining their confidence. They're starting to step into their power, and I'm getting that this full moon, I should say, is helping them gain a new confidence within themselves. They may also, in particular, if you're a masculine watching, you may have a counterpart who's a fire sign female, but this is more the energy that they're starting to maybe gain awareness and confidence in their feminine energy. I think they're also realizing that somewhat there's been this awakening. I think some of the feminines have maybe offered to work with them, offered, obviously their companionship, wanting a relationship, wanting more than they could give at the time, and they're starting to recognize, I think, the depth and the seriousness and the reality of what was offered to them. And I think because we've got the Three of Pentacles here, which is a card of teamwork. In this deck, it's collaboration. And I mean, look how beautiful. They're holding hands, and they're bound in light. And this is, I've talked about this before. Cassidy Kane, Twin Flames 1111, the absolute best meditations. Even if you're not trying to connect with a twin flame, if you're just wanting a relaxing meditation to help you balance your inner masculine and feminine, it's absolutely amazing. The higher dimensional anchoring one and the oneness. The higher dimensional anchoring, there's a part at the end where both counterparts are getting, they're completely getting their chakras cleared, and they're standing there together, cleansed and free, is what she says. And they're making a commitment to them, in the astral planes, that when they go back kind of to earth, that you're bound. And so you're imagining these silver cords and lights like around your wrists binding you together, so that you don't let the 3D illusions break up that bond and affect that bond. And so I just got chills when I saw this image, because it reminds me of that. And I don't know that we've had this card come out in this deck. I don't recall. I feel like I haven't seen it in a while. Just in general, it's just a beautiful card. But anyway, what I'm getting, and it's a 3 as well. Three of Pentacles. The Empress is a 3. We have the breakthrough in awareness with the Ace of Swords. So what I'm getting is they're evolving, they're awakening, they're starting to realize the connection between their counterpart, their person, even where they didn't realize it before, that there is something special here, there's something spiritual here, and they're starting to gain confidence in themselves that maybe they were cut out for this, is what I'm getting. But also, and they're wanting to move past this energy of conflict. I think they are still a little bit in their heads. We've got the Five of Wands, conflict and competition. And I'm also picking up on, for some of them, they're thinking that it's too late. I was getting that earlier. They're thinking it's too late. They're thinking they've blown it, especially in the situation where, they've not expressed their feelings, and they may realize their person has tried to move on, and the energy has shifted between them to where, if the feminine is not chasing them anymore and contacting them anymore, and she's, her energy's different, he can just sense that there's not that need and that attachment, and she's pulled back. They're feeling, conflicted about that, and kind of like, oh my God, what have I done? I feel like I've blown this. And so I feel like, for the masculines right now, some of them are in, they're in a lot of heartache. They're, this full moon, I didn't mention it in the beginning, but I think it's with the shadow period of Mercury retrograde right now that we're in. An actual retrograde, I believe, starts the 17th. There is a lot of karma clearing coming up. I've already had past life. My my lover from ancient Egypt popped up yesterday. Like, you can't make this stuff up, people. There's a lot of because I guess I didn't fully clear that karma. It was very hard for me to let that go the last couple times, and each time it's like it's gotten a little bit, okay, I can do this, I can walk away. What is this showing me? But I think for the masculines, there's kind of this, as they're awakening, right, their heart is opening, and so it's forcing them. I'm getting, okay, as their hearts being opened, the feminine's heart was cracked open quite a bit. I mean, I think everybody's was, but now with this boom, this shift that the feminines have undergone, so rapidly. I feel like, at least for myself in the last couple weeks, it's making them up level, and as their heart, they've been, I think a lot of them have been closed off and not dealing with some of the issues and the pain and the things that they need to purge and deal with. And so I feel like this energy coming in with the retrogrades, they may be going through some tests and challenges, and it really might be stirring up a lot for them. And like I said, I know just for myself in the past couple weeks, I had some unexpected, um, just completely unexpected, betrayal by somebody I thought that was my friend, for years. And just the way, I wasn't necessarily surprised about the outcome of the situation, but it was just the way that I was treated. It was like a complete slap in the face, like a, stabbed in the back. It brought up a lot of stuff from childhood for me that I thought I had cleared out, like, being rejected, being the girl, on the moonlight skate that nobody wanted to skate with, and the last one left, and nobody wants you, and it was bad. And there's a lot of that coming out just to help us clear it once and for all. Um, I think that's going to help them, this clearing, right? This is the action forward card, Three of Swords, heartache. But what's beautiful about it, the image here, a lot of times is swords, right? I mean, in this deck, it looks to me like it's almost like a dead flower. It's like a dead flower that needs to open, I think is what this is. It sure looks like a rose bed that's kind of like their hearts have been closed off and frozen for so long. And I think they're thawing out, is what I'm getting. They're thawing out. They're being forced. This fire energy is coming in and kind of thawing them out, is what I'm getting. Um, Forcing this to peel open, and it's uncomfortable for them. So you may not be hearing from them during this time, just because they're dealing with the stuff they need to deal with it on their own. But what I'm getting is it's going to help them get more in tune with their feminine energy, which is what we want. We want, as we feminine, gendered individuals are becoming more balanced in our energy, the masculines, if they're going to be, if you're on this path together and you're going to unite, in this life as sacred partners, you have to both be balanced. It'll never work out. You're always going to repel each other, trigger each other, and you still might, but the energy has to be balanced for it to like come together like a magnet and not repel. It's just got to, mesh and, come, meld together. And so they have to balance themselves. So that's what I'm getting that they're doing right now, because this action, as they face this pain, as their heart opens, they can become, more in their Queen of Cups energy, their loving feminine side that has been dormant for a long time. Um, this is not going to be an easy process for them. It's going to bring up, some intuition, sensitivity, open them up to some stuff again that, like I said, they've maybe have been feeling, not been willing to feel, I should say. They've been feeling it and had it under the surface. So we've got some Nine of Wands. This is trials and tribulations. But at the same time, this is a necessary process. We all know that. We went through it ourselves. Feminines, you might be picking up on them, feeling them, going through this. But the beautiful thing is, you've got the star, universal alignment in this deck. How beautiful is that? The star is about destiny. It's about healing. But here it says universal alignment. It's a major arcana. I'm thinking, by the next new moon, that they might be in a position where a lot of these old wounds, because the outcome right now is Five of Cups, old wounds. Old wounds are surfacing for them to deal with, but it's all part of them getting into alignment to balance their energies. And look at this. On the bottom of the deck, you can't make this stuff up. Two of Pentacles, balancing act. I mean, I don't know. It seems pretty clear to me that they're being forced pretty quickly, I feel like, to go through some rapid ascension. I mean, the masculines have been through the ringer, but it's just beautiful, like for them to not be awakened, to be going through these things, and at such a rapid, evolved pace. Like, it's just, I think you need to send a lot of love to your counterpart right now. I think they're going through many things, and I think they're starting to again open up to this connection. And I think a lot of them, again, Five of Cups is kind of an energy. It's old wounds. I think feeling like they've missed an opportunity is what I'm getting. Feel like you've moved on if you're not in contact, and if things did not end so well the last time around, or the last time you saw them, I think you just really need to send them love, and I think they will feel that. But again, I think they're starting to, they're feeling like some of them are feeling like it's too late. They've blown it, and now they're feeling all these things. And it obviously some things are going to get triggered, from their childhood and whatnot. But I think a lot of it, they're going to be triggered around their feelings around you as the feminine. I'm going to pull a Twin Flame Messages card to see what the masculine wants to say to the feminine right now. I'm just feeling so much like love in my heart right now. It's crazy. Just, I'm proud. I'm proud. Okay. I've never forgotten you, even though you think I have. So this is definitely a message for ones that have not been in touch for a while. And this says, I just wasn't ready for you. So, they obviously weren't ready because they weren't in alignment. So that's coming to fruition now. Definitely getting that. This is absolutely beautiful. Like everything, and all the trials and tribulations and all the things it's like everything had to happen to get you to where you need to be. So don't ever feel like you've done something wrong or made a mistake on this journey, because your soul mapped out everything in advance. And someday you'll look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. It opened me up to this situation, and it moved me here, and it did this. So we're going to look at the feminines. I don't know what the deal is with this deck, but I've been guided to use the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is like my little Halloween fall one. But we're going to see what's going on with the Divine Feminines right now. Divine Feminines. What's going on with the full moon and the Divine Feminine Collective? Wow. Yeah. This is amazing. Okay. So I think, as I was saying, that the feminines, a lot of them have completely kind of done an overhaul of their lives. Just, I feel like, at least for myself, Scorpio season was extremely profound for me and forcing me to make some lifestyle changes. But it really, has implemented and ingrained itself in January, when I said I felt like I went through kind of the entire year of 2019 in a month, as far as the lessons and the things. And the last couple weeks, it's kind of been it's this fresh start. It's this new life. It's not centered around anyone else as far as trying to attract a partner, right? It's things I'm doing for myself. I'm, planning my routine around me, my health, and not trying to see somebody or run into somebody. I'm actually changing things up just to try to, put some distance between myself and certain situations, because I know if people are supposed to be in my life, they will want to be there, and they will come. I'm not chasing anybody. And I feel like many of us, the fool, like it's been kind of this like, oh my God, I'm at a new start. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to fly. I'm ready to soar. I don't know where, if I jump off this cliff, where I'm going to end up, but I know I'm going up. I'm not going to fall again. I'm not going to fall back into those old patterns. I've closed out these cycles, right? Full circle, 0 point. So it's really, really beautiful. I think many of us were, hoping for some kind of physical, tangible offer by now, right? It's 2020, it's February. We've talked about people, masculine's awakening and things happening. You maybe thought you were going in a direction with a soulmate partner. And then that, I think for many of us, this offer has not presented itself, because there's sort of this crossroads, right? Two of Swords. This is kind of like you can go either way, and you're kind of like, well, I don't want to be with this person anymore. I want to try to go this way. And you're throwing out mixed signals to the universe. And so that's why something solid hasn't happened, because maybe you're not manifesting, you're setting your target, right, on exactly what you want, because you feel like sometimes what you want maybe is an illusion. It's not real, and it's never going to manifest. So you're kind of in this cycle where it's like, well, um, I'm in, I'm out. I believe in this, I don't. Um, and it's like you've got to close that out, right? You've got to stop that energy and just and stop the focus on it's got to be this person or that person, right? That's I'm getting. It's like it's got to be about you and your journey and your leap, and doing it alone without having any attachment to any person, and that's extremely freeing. What I'm getting is, there's Knight of Pentacles energy here, slow moving knights. Knights are transitory. Knights are the Knight of Pentacles is going to be the most solid, but what I'm getting is that's not good enough for you. You're at this stage where knights, if you guys, again, that post I shared the other day, the Mystic Moon post, it's not, this breadcrumbs knight bullshit is not enough. It's time for a king. And so you're just kind of like, I'm kind of knowing and sensing that somebody is coming for you because you're doing all this work, because you're getting in alignment, but you're kind of taking matters into your own hands and perpetuating your own destiny, your own path without that person. And you're at a position where, again, you're strong enough to not want this, to be okay walking away from this. The Wheel of Fortune is about destiny. It's about, I'm getting like, this is beautiful. Like, she's realizing she's in control of her own destiny, and she's capable of manifesting whatever she wants. Look at this wheel. You've got love on here. You've got a pot of money. You've got a ring. You've got sun. You've got stars. You've got, the health, like career things, a home. It's like, yeah, I'm realizing now, like, how much I can change my life and be happy when I make these healthy changes and get out of these stagnant patterns, and meet new people. And who knows what that's going to usher in. And you're kind of in this open energy of like knowing, trusting somebody's coming, but they need to come forward with a solid, tangible offer, or you're just going to you know, keep going your way, your new life, you're closed out, all this other stuff, and you're free. You're free of that old codependent pattern. Because what you want, Ace of Cups, you're putting that love into yourself. You kind of are just trusting, like holding that cup, giving all the love and all the attention that you've been given to someone else outside of you, you're now giving to yourself. You're holding that to you, and you're like, you know what, my time, my energy, it's sacred, and I'm not going to give it to anybody. And I'm going to be okay saying no. I'm going to be okay holding up my sword. I'm going to do what I need to do. And you kind of see this in the background, these two doves. You know that you've done all this work. Something is coming for you. You know that. You're not, laying awake at night, crying over it, longing for it. It's just this knowing, this calmness. She's like, yeah, I'm just going to do my own thing and love myself. Now, there are, some times that I think, some of this is going to be, you're going to be picking up on the masculine's energy as he's starting to awaken and go through some of these things. There are times though, when you're in this energy and you've kind of shifted and I don't want to, regress sounds like a bad term, because it's not. We're all human and living in 3D and 5D at the same time. You're going to fluctuate. You do sometimes feel this conflict, this Five of Wands, this competition. You kind of feel like, oh, he's still, talking to all these other women or doing whatever. Or, the conflict could be, I'm getting to, because of all these are all women around it's like you don't really resonate with this energy anymore too. I don't even know that this has to do with the masculine so much. It could, but I think it's more the conflict of you realizing that there are people, pattern, situations that just doesn't resonate. And so you're kind of conflicted. How do I walk away from this? I don't, turning down invites from people saying, I need to stay in tonight, or I don't feel like drinking tonight. I don't want to go out. I want to be alone. I want to stay in and do my own thing. That's a conflict because, if you've been doing something a certain way for months, years with people in your life and you have a certain routine and they expect to see you or for you to show up or give your time or whatever, and you kind of say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. That's definitely a conflicted energy. And I feel like this change is going to happen really quickly. We've got Eight of Wands. This is a card about communication typically, but I think this is kind of the dust, the chaos that it's like you're afraid to say those words, to say that I need to make these changes in my life. It's kind of this difficult like upheaval. You're feeling a little bit like, you might be changing jobs, you might be changing, there might be some major changes. You might be moving, breaking off friendships, things like that, things that you've been doing for years. It's definitely feels like, I mean, this is an upheaval energy. It also could be some communication. Some of you might be conflicted, contemplating like, should I reach out to my masculine? My recommendation, I mean, everybody's journey is different. You have to know your inner knowing, at least where I am. It's like, no, the chasing is over. They know where to find you. And if you have that unbreakable bond, it's not going to go anywhere. You can't lose them. And when they're ready, they will reach out to you, or the universe will, put some sort of scenario together for you to run into them. If it's destined, it will happen. You shouldn't chase it. So I know there's kind of some conflict in your heart when you're starting to feel like, oh, maybe they think that I don't want to see them anymore. I don't want to talk to them. And no, like think, they will come to you. They need to become the chaser as things shift. And that's my recommendation. But again, if you're in communication with this person already and, it might make sense for you to reach out to them because you had talked about making plans or doing whatever. So that's a totally different scenario. I am picking up on, again, this is like a conflict about kind of your desire to stop this, whatever it is, if it's excessive partying, going out, hanging out with a certain crowd, this celebration, this like, carefree. It's like you're just not maybe into that anymore. You want to be a hermit. You want to go within and be on your own and just get out in nature and do your own thing. And I think, that's what we're sort of being guided to do. If you're feeling like these things don't resonate with you anymore, it is difficult to make those changes, but there is, you can find balance in it too, unless it's a completely unhealthy situation, in which case, you got to cut it out completely. But this is about, finding balance. And I'm just getting that, yeah, you're with this full moon, there could be maybe temptations, like people are like, oh, let's go out, let's do this over this weekend or whatever. And you're just like, you know what? No, I really just want to stay in and I want to stay in and work on myself. And that's okay. So hopefully that resonated, but that's definitely what I'm kind of feeling right now. Major upheaval, major changes. I'm going to pull a message. This is a new deck that I just got. Messages of Love Oracle cards from All Things Intuitive. I think Mystic Moon used them on her video the other day, and that's why I was like, I love these. So what message does the feminine have for the masculine right now? Wow. Radical, it's called Release. Radical acceptance and surrender can help you let go. So I think this is a beautiful message as the feminines know the masculines are starting to go through awakenings. They're starting to have their hearts open. They're kind of like, what the heck is happening? Why am I feeling all these things? Why am I feeling for my divine feminine? I thought maybe we were done. I had tried to block her out. I've tried to move past it with other people. She makes me feel things that I don't like. She triggers me, all those types of feelings. And it's like, what we're saying to you as the masculine is you've got to accept this for what it is. If you're part of this dynamic, you can run, but you can't hide. Trust me, we've tried. The more you fight it, the harder it's going to be. And so you've just got to surrender and give it all to God and spirit and your guides and trust. And, a lot of this has to be done on your own, and we understand that. but I think, all the times that the feminines have kind of tried to offer insight, at least in my case, I've, had told my perceived person, like all these things, um, you know, that about our connection, and I know many divine feminines have, um, that it's okay, to not be afraid to maybe ask for that guidance again, or to bring those things up. Remember when you said blah blah, like that kind of makes sense now, or you offered to be their support. And I think, again, they need to do this on their own, but I think it's also, I guess what the feminines would want to say to the masculines is that we are here. But you're going to have to come to us. We're not going to, offer that chaser, smothering, like, you know, we've had to do it on our own, and now we're respecting you. We're in a position where we respect you enough to know that you have to go through this on your own. And if you want to go forward on this path, you will, and you'll come to us when you're ready. And if you don't, that's okay. And we are here, the feminines are here knowing in our Queen of Wands energy, which the masculines got as well, which is really interesting. We're here in our confident energy, knowing that we can bring all these things for ourselves. I don't know if this is a dragon. Let's look at dragon. I was thinking it was a phoenix, but that we're creating the life that we want for ourselves, and we know that a sacred partner is going to come in for us and join us, whether that's the person who awakened us, the person we've been on this journey with, or someone else. We trust that. We can't be, we won't be attaching to any particular person. So I don't know that I really have time to pull a spread on the union energies, because I kind of feel like we really did dive into that. The masculines are starting to awaken. They're starting to realize, understand the connection, and they're feeling like they've blown it. And the feminines are sort of, creating this new life for themselves, this new future. And it's, they are coming around. So I think I was getting into that. It's like, I'm not expecting a union to happen, with this full moon. I'm expecting awakening. I'm expecting heart chakra opening. I'm expecting maybe some epiphanies. Maybe you'll get some communication. But I feel like if it does happen, if they've been in that kind of night page energy, they're probably still going to be there. At least this moon cycle is what I'm getting. The card that I just pulled, I think it was the Fairy Oracles, affirmations. To lift up your thoughts and energy and to attract what you desire, use positive affirmations. So this is very important. I know I don't do this enough myself. This is something that we definitely need to speak affirmatively and as if we already have something, and maybe gauge it as that you're in union with yourself, your sacred partner is with you, and maybe not use a specific name or attach it to a specific person. We've also got flower power. Spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing powers. It's interesting that that Three of Swords card was in the shape of a flower, right? It was a flower that was wilted, and so I think that it's starting to open. Is the image I was getting, and this I think is additional confirmation, and perhaps even the feminines, spending time with flowers and flower essences could maybe help their counterpart with their opening of their heart as the flower. But I'm also picking up on spring. I think there's going to be some things, some major developments. I know, like I said, I just in the last 2 weeks, I feel like between every video I record, there's just so much growth and progress happening. And I see it, not just within myself as a feminine, but a lot of the masculine things resonate with me too, as far as what's happening with closing out karmic cycles. And I'll be honest, not all feminines have been this way, but I myself have been very much in night energy. I've been like wishy-washy and hot and cold, and like I don't know what I want, and I want this but I don't want this when they don't do what I want, and I want this but I want this person, and I want that, and I'm going to do that. That's the energy that I've been putting out for months, like all this last year of my journey. And it's like, well, no wonder things aren't happening, right? So it's time to take all of that, I'm going to focus on this person, that, no, focus on me, my own masculine, feminine, healing myself. Before we go, I don't want this to cut off. I feel like there's a message that wants to be here from the Unicorn Oracle. I Some major stuff's going to happen, guys. I'm excited to see what comes out in the next video. And I'd love to hear, you know, developments from you. I obviously won't share anything publicly unless you post it publicly. Nature. Ground yourself, find a sanctuary in nature, connect with the elementals. So this, we got the flower power, we got the hermit. I think both counterparts, you really need to be grounding since there's a lot of energies coming in and connecting to nature. Discernment. All is not what it seems. Stay true to your knowing and keep your dreams a secret. This is a big one for me. Trusting things that are going on behind the scenes. And if you're on the twin flame journey and you're sharing stuff with people who are not awakened or not on this journey with you, they can be very judgmental. You know, that person's not into you. They're this, they're that, they're not right for you. Why are you wasting your time? Blah, 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 blah. That's just going to put negative energy into the connection. It's going to put doubt and fear into your mind. So I think you're best to keep this to yourself. Write it in a journal, or confide. If you do have a friend that understands and that won't judge, talk about it with them. But all is not what it seems. Stay true to your knowing. Keep your dreams a secret. To me, this is saying your dreams are going to manifest. They are going to come true. They're not an illusion. But if you talk to people about them, they're going to think you're crazy, and they're going to tell you you shouldn't believe in that anymore. Okay, that's very strongly what I'm getting here, and to have strength. And we are in the strength. Leo is the strength with this full moon. This challenge will make you stronger. You will get through the other side. Look for the gifts in this situation. Focus on gratitude. Focus on gratitude every day and finding your own path, paving your own path, doing what makes you happy, even if it means saying no to others. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.